2xKO recently released the full game, and with that came a lot of character adjustments. And after a few weeks on the new version of the game, and a couple of tournament runs later, I think I'm finally ready to talk about this game's general power level when it comes to characters and the tier list surrounding it. I already did this once on stream, but I wanted to make a separate video to explain my thoughts a bit more in depth and just kind of remove the fluff. The list is already made, as you can see. I want to preface this by saying all the characters in this game are good. I don't think there's actually a low tier. I think any of these characters could win a tournament, in a tournament with a lot of strong players there. It's just some are harder than others, but don't let that take away from the fact that when you see characters in the lower tier, it's as if they just can't do anything, because they are strong in their own right. It's just typically they'll probably have issues that are too overwhelming for them to deal with compared to the top tiers. So let's start bottom up. I think the worst character in this game is Blitzcrank. He's kind of been down here for a while now. I think he's pretty good because he has access to one of the strongest moves in the game, which is his command grab, especially when he's cranked up. People underrate how strong a 6-frame armored command throw is on one button. If he is cranked up, he actually has access to arguably the strongest post-screen freeze scenario in the game. And for those who don't know, when you tag in this game, it is 0. So if your opponent wasn't doing anything and you decide to tag right in front of them, you guys are 0, so whoever is the faster character, so like if you have a 6-frame, which is the fastest button in the game, you win. Blitz, being a non-6-framer, usually struggles with this issue, but with access to his command throw, he can do some pretty interesting things. He essentially has like the strongest post-screen freeze option in the game, because even against other 6-framers, they can't do anything about it. It hits really hard, can't throw it. And that goes to show what I meant when I said that despite being on the lower end of this list, they still have some really, really good things about them. So some other cool things about Blitz is he has some pretty strong post hit. So if this character hits you, especially in the corner, you're in a pretty bad spot, because if he throws you, his throw is higher reward than most. He has access to restands, really high damage. Keep in mind though, I don't believe restands are actually that strong in this game compared to, well, how they may seem. Like, they have their strengths, obviously, but the way the meta is evolving, restands aren't as good as just taking your combo. So the issues why I actually think he's not that good in comparison to the rest of the characters is a few things, right? He's slow and he's big, which is always an issue for these characters. That means he also has weaker defense because he's so huge. He gets hit by certain character-specific mix-ups, which sucks. So his matchup against Ahri, for example, is not that fun. His assists are actually kind of bad. They're very easily parryable. It's very hard to use these assists in neutral without risking your life, given how slow they are and how active they are. His assist is so active that it might look like it's a good thing, since he can kind of whiff it, and then they can go into it and they'll still get hit. But against a more experienced player, you can dash parry it after it's already whiffed, which is not a good thing. I think I just planked the two together, yeah. Like, especially for a character like Ekko. And keep in mind, this is not me parrying it on reaction. I'm seeing it whiff, and I'm hitting dash parry. So this is an exploitable weakness of the character, which, again, at the higher levels, starts to show itself. And his block strings are also relatively weak. He has arguably some of the worst block strings in the game, which doesn't help him considering he is a command grab character. Despite all his strengths, I believe his weaknesses don't allow him to play like the type of character he needs to play as, which is a character who is extremely threatening once he gets up close. And that is why I believe Blitz is the worst. The next character we can talk about is Caitlyn, which there is a bigger issue when it comes to zoners in this game that I'm not entirely sure if I want to talk about in this video, but the reason why the zoners are down here, or most of them, is because of this. I think it deserves to be its own video in and of itself, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but Caitlyn is really, really good. She has a lot of really good stuff. She's the newest character of the game. Really high damage output, restand potential again, access to guard crush, the best charge 5H in the game, OTG assists, like, again, the highest damage in the game by, like, her tag launcher just nukes you, utility super, all this good stuff. She's a 6-framer. She can cross you up. So why is she down here? This is kind of more of a game theory thing, but zoning in this game isn't really that good right now, because the systems of the game are going out of its way to work against the zoners. And what I mean by that is things not staying on hit, like projectiles, parry existing the way it does, screen lock being not nearly as strong for zoners. All of these things, and these are things that the devs have changed recently, are working against characters like Caitlyn, Jinx, and even Teemo. So these characters are a lot lower power level wise than they should be, in this version of the game at least. So for all of her strengths, she is a zoner in a game that does not favor zoners, and even worse because she's a zoner that is supposed to be very high skill ceiling and kind of high risk, high reward, in the sense that if she whiffs a projectile, she's incredibly minus. As you can see, that's minus 61 for just whiffing a projectile. That is not good. She is death on whiff almost every single time. Caitlyn does not miss, so they designed her to where if you do miss, you will die every single time. Very high recovery on a lot of her stuff. Like this is minus 56. This is kind of the only tool that she can kind of spam a little bit and throw out there safely. In practice, this ends up not being enough to really get it done majority of the time. Another crippling issue of this character is as a zoner, she sucks against other projectiles because typically, if she hits somebody, she can cancel into another gunshot, bola, or air dash. However, if she destroys a projectile with her projectile, she loses all of her cancel options. I can cancel into anything here, which is really bad because all that means is as a zoner, all it takes is somebody putting a projectile on the screen and then running behind it, and then you are probably going to die. Yeah, that is not good. That is bad for business. Like that punished me. As a zoner, not only if you're inclined to not be able to miss, and if you do miss, you're going to die, and also being weak to projectiles as a zoner is just not a good combination, especially not in this version of the game. So despite all of her strengths, I think these weaknesses lead her to be on the bottom half of this character's, or this game's tier list, excuse me. So the next character we're going to talk about is Jinx. My personal favorite character in this game at the moment, at least in terms of personality wise. Like I appreciate zoners if they are space control. I appreciate trap characters even more. I love just being able to control the space. I love being hyper mobile. I love having intricate creative neutral structures. And then I also love psychopaths. Like I love characters who are losing their mind. And that is Jinx in a nutshell. She's losing her mind throughout the fight. However, despite that, she does have a few weaknesses that make her on the lowest tier of this game, which is we can do it, it's just really hard, which they can do it. Jinx just won a tournament in EU, and even which essentially all of the strongest or most of the strongest EU players were there, minus like I believe Leffen and Zondo. But it just goes to show that these characters can do it. It's just extremely difficult. First is she is a zoner, which does have its strengths in being that she can pressure you from full screen, which is really, really nice. She has access to traps, which means she can control the state of the game more than other characters without her assist if given the opportunity to do so, which is having a trap available. She has really good anti-airs. This is one of the most underrated moves in the game. It's very strong, especially as a tag out. Very, very strong for tag out. OTGs, pretty strong supers, and really strong setup. So despite having all these tools, the reason that I think Jinx gets held back in this version of the game is simply because one, she is a zoner. Two, she has inconsistencies in her game plan in general. And three, she lacks mix-up to make her own trap scary, which I'm going to talk about this a bit more when we get to Teemo. And as you can see in the list, like Teemo's obviously much higher than a character like Jinx. And that is one of the reasons is because for a trap character, she actually really cannot use her traps that well at all. Her traps are good for neutral control, but in terms of making you scared, even if she makes you block a trap, you're not really too scared. You're not really getting threatened by anything. The scariest thing she can do to you is overhead you. It is fairly reactable. It is a grounded overhead, which makes it a bit hard to deal with, but it's fairly reactable. And with a trap, it can be safe. Without a trap, it is death on block. This is generally considered to be one of the worst overheads in the game. for this reason. Basically means that if this character is ever close to you, you're not really scared of her traps, which as a trap character, I do think that is a bit unfortunate to not be too scared of her traps. It would make up for that if her neutral control was so present to the point where it made sense for her mix-up to not be as strong, but it is simply not. Kind of similar to Caitlyn. Her traps have fairly high recovery, and they have been trying to buff this. They have changed this twice to make her recover faster in 2 separate updates. However, she still runs the issue of just not really being able to get going properly majority of the game. So it leads her to have an issue where even in neutral, she doesn't actually feel that strong. She feels like she can just get kind of mauled, is the way I like to word it, right? She's fighting against a character like Ekko. She is very prone to kind of just getting ran at with not really too many options to threaten and scare the opposing player to dissuade that. For how strong she is, if she does get going, like things like this is good, detonate it, things like this, send this over here, come down with a rocket. These are good. However, the chances of her to actually get this to happen in the game are very, very low compared to other characters getting their game plan started. And that holds her back a lot. Oh, I guess some other things I did forget to mention about her is her support value is very high. Strong tag out moves, really strong assists, strong utility supers. This one, good for punishment. Right, if you're watching this, please buff this move. Let her get a knockdown, you know. Just knock you down. At least let her be able to set up off this. I feel like that's fair for her. And, you know, just throwing that out there. And amazing tag out moves, like amazing, very, very high tier, top tier tag out moves. One thing I do want to mention about this character, and this doesn't come up too often, but it will come up again, is she has potential to actually be higher, but it requires playing her in a duo. Duo Jinx might be right here, like in this tier. However, if I think a character's usefulness is mainly tied behind playing a duo, I don't think that's a good thing. And trust me, like I think I have a pretty fair opinion on this, especially since at this current moment I am a part of the strongest duo in this game right now. So I have like some of the most experience on duo play. I feel as if a character value is tied to you have to play them in a duo to feel as if you're having a chance to fight in the meta fairly. And not to say she can't do it, because obviously, like I said, she just won a tournament. However, when I look at this character and I think, is this worth it to play? Even if it's not like the most optimal thing in the world, right? Is this worth it to play? Like, for if I can have enough fun and I really think the strategy that I bring to the table is good enough. When it comes to that discussion, I don't think Jinx is worth it, and she can only start even trying to be in that discussion if you are playing her as a duo. And I don't agree that a character should feel that way. I think a character should definitely feel strong enough, regardless of if you're playing a duo or solo, and then they can get stronger as a duo. Next character in the next tier is Darius, and after we get past this tier, not to say these characters aren't good enough, but once we get to solid picks, these characters are very, very good. Like very, very good. Like I said, this tier, as we can do it, it's just really hard, which I believe that is the case. But once we get past that, it is just straight solid picks. These characters are, like, I know this is called tournament winners, but all these characters are tournament winners. Like, there could be a world where these could be like that. These characters are very, very good. Like, they're very strong. And their issues stop being as present, as hindering as they are with the tier below them. Darius, as a character, is really interesting because he is an all-arounder, mid-range brawler who is kind of a mid-dispenser, right? Like, he's a mid-dispenser, but a mid-dispenser that can not only enable very strong mix-ups, but he's also a mid-dispenser that his mids are highly threatening because of his unique mechanic. There it is. Unique mechanic bleed, just incredibly strong. Oh, that's nice. Increases chip damage. Now, there is so much good to say about this character. His 5M is a god normal. This thing goes extremely far. This is a insane normal. It is slow, goes incredibly far, reaches around start. It OSs itself, so you don't really even have to try to hit confirm this. Like that. You do something like this. Get a nice combo. Do a lot of damage, etc., etc. Right? Very good starter, very good neutral tool. So even in neutral, this character has the ability to poke you very well. He has hook, amazing, and generally speaking, he is very strong in the mid range, which is very, very nice to play footsies around this character. He's also pretty fast. Stream data is amazing. He has some of the best strike throw in the entire game. In the corner especially, I do believe he actually has the hardest hitting throw in the game. I'm not a Darius main, but I believe it was something like this. It was something like that. But his throw without setup, I believe, is the hardest hitting throw in the game, which is amazing because he can straight up two-touch you off just throwing you twice. But on to what makes this character really special. I mean, it's obviously bleed and his apprehend. Because this move has the unique mechanic to guard crush you. And for those of you who don't know how and why this is strong, is because this property removes your defensive options in the game. You cannot push block this, as you can see, the bot set to push block, nor can you retreat and guard it. So what this effectively means is if you can somehow find a way to get the opponent to block this move, they are at your mercy. You can do whatever you want to them. And that is especially nice considering he has a built-in frame trap off this move. He has a jailing move off this move, which he can delay it to frame trap as well to leave a gap, and he has a command throw. And the icing on the cake is this is a tag out move. So as you can see, I can get him to do this move after I've tagged out. And the reason this is nice is because you can abuse this to essentially get very strong jailing mix-ups like I just did. And remember, since this move removes your ability to push block, what this effectively means is if Darius ever touches your block, he can enforce a mix-up with essentially no counterplay or very, very limited counterplay, which means he's just that much more scary combined with his footsies and his like ability to just kind of dance around you in neutral, look for whiff punishes, and even if he touches your block, he puts you in a pretty bad situation. So despite this, the reason he is on the lower half is simply because, one, he is a 7-frame character, which is not that good because, like I addressed a bit earlier, this game plays around tag a lot. And if you're going to start noticing the character's weaknesses, especially past the lowest tier, starts more so being I am not in this certain area, like I'm not a 6-framer, or I don't have the ability to screen lock or something like that, and that's why they're on the lower half. But if I did something like this, Darius struggles in this scenario because he cannot challenge, as you can see. He is a 7-framer, and since this situation is 0, whoever has the fastest button wins, and as a 7-framer, he will always lose out to the other 6-framers of the game. This is even more apparent because throw is a 6-frame move. A bit going into the semantics of the game a little bit, but throw is a 6-frame move, and this game has 1-frame throw protection. So that might be a little nerd talk for some people who isn't like too keen on that, but the general theory behind it is if you guys are 0 and you both can move at the same time, and if I hit throw as fast as possible, 6-frame move, however, throw will lose to other 6-frame moves. So if you are a 6-framer yourself, you don't have to worry about this too much, because if they try to throw you and you mash, that's not going to work, right? So if I pick Ahri here, that's not going to work, right? You can't do that to me. However, as a 7-framer, he does not have this privilege. He will just get thrown. So not only will he lose the strike here, he will also lose the throw here, which is not good. Well, I accidentally threw, but and this can show itself in many ways, especially at the higher levels, which is what Darius starts struggling in. And I would say the other reason this character struggles is simply because he is fairly weak to stall. I don't want to say zoning. It kind of is zoning, but I would say stall, because he gets stalled out. Like these zoners, he can start struggling against, like Teemo. It starts being very obvious how hard it can be for him to get in sometimes. And even the characters who are just generally good at stalling you out, like Ahri, like Yasuo, like Ekko, who is just really good at running away, you start seeing his issues show a bit more and more. Which it isn't bad issues by any stretch of the margin, right? But it's enough to have him lower than these other characters. And that just goes to show you how high the power level characters in the game are. There are some pretty good characters. Next character is Braum. This character is pretty strong. He's pretty buffed right now. He's juicy right now. He's huge. He's huge. Let's talk about the good first. And once we get to like the middle part of this list and then onwards, we'll start talking about the bad first, because the bad starts being a lot less relevant, so we knocked that out the way. So we just talked about all the good things about these characters. The good thing about him is he has a lot of health. He has Unbreakable, which is the star of the show for this character, in my opinion, and his assists. So in terms of mix-up, command throw, he does get a combo from. I'm not a Braum player, but He does get a pretty decent combo from like that. I did 3 hits, I already did 300. That's definitely good enough. His armor with Unbreakable is really good. We all know this. But because of this, he has pretty good advantage state. And something you're also going to notice is a few things can make a character very strong in generally, especially in this game. And one of them is just having a pretty good win condition. Like if I get this scenario, like let's say like 2 to 3 times a match, chances are I'm probably going to win, right? While his isn't the strongest, he does have a very good one, and he has a one, which is very nice, which is just having you in the corner with Unbreakable. He has you in the corner with Unbreakable. It's kind of really hard for anyone to do anything about this. You kind of just have to sit there and watch him, unless you're like Yasuo or something. And it's very, very difficult for characters to get out of this situation. And he hits very hard. So if you are wrong and you do get hit by him poking you to death like this, you're just going to explode. Like you're going to die. Which is really, really nice because when you have Braum on your team, you can kind of play to get this to happen. And just get Unbreakable in general because it just makes this character a lot stronger. He has very good assist value, very, very strong assist. As you can see, that is a plus 43 assist. His assist gets better with Unbreakable. He has a lockdown layered assist, amazing. And the real starter of the show is this assist. So this is the reason why I actually think he is as good as I think he is, because this assist is a pretty big game-breaking assist. It is arguably one of the strongest assists in the game. And the reason that is because this move is kind of hard-coded to always spawn in between you and the opposing point character. So if I'm right here, he'll kind of spawn in between us, shoot it out. And even if I'm back here, since he will spawn in between us, he will spawn directly in the middle of the screen, and then walk forward. This is very nice because the strongest strategy in this game right now, generally speaking, is screen locking, which is essentially doing a move all the way back here. And while this move is happening, the opponent can't get away because your previous point, which is your assist, so in this example be Jinx, she's kind of holding the screen back here. And since she is right there, she will stay there until she despawns. And because she's there, and because the game has to show all the characters, they're kind of just in the corner. This is incredibly strong with Braum because there is no assist that spawns or goes as fast as far as Braum, in the sense that even the fastest assist in the game, like Ahri, would have travel time. Like you'd have to call her, she'd have to spirit rush forward, and that takes time. Braum literally spawns in the ideal situation. If I just simply do this, already I'm that close to you, and there's very little you can do to stop this. And one of the best strategies to stop this is simply just hitting the assist, right? Somebody tried to screen lock me, I'll be like, no. You just hit the assist before they have a chance to tag in, and you kind of just deal with it that way, right? However, Braum, you can't even do that to his because his is a shield. It will absorb hits for you. So he's not the best at screen locking. However, when it comes to using it, he is one of the best characters in the entire game, which is really, really nice. So despite that, the issues of this character is as following. He's a 7-framer, which is another issue that comes up. And he's big, again, just like Blitz. He's big body and he's slow, which means he's just prone to kind of just getting ran away from, typical fighting game stuff, which sucks for him. And he's weak to certain mix-ups, again, sucks for him. His mix-up, while it can be strong, is conditional on his reward. Like if he doesn't have Unbreakable, he doesn't do the most damage. And it is command throw at the end of the day, and a very punishable one at that. Minus 84, that is pretty crazy. He will always get punished. And his pressure, while it can be very strong in the corner, since he is kind of like slow, it's kind of weak to push block, and not as much retreating guard, but his ability to kind of try to stay in and get this situation to happen is kind of hard for him compared to other characters. So these issues kind of combine to make him on the lower half of the cast, despite him being really good. I think like this and up are the tiers where character starts being really, really, really strong. Anyways, let's talk about Warwick. This character is, I don't want to call him mid-tier, even though he's smack in the middle of this tier list, but I do think he is like the borderline for high tier. I think he is the mark. He is the benchmark. I think he goes, these characters are low tier, these characters are the mid tiers, and he is the gate to high tier. Like he is either high tier or the gate to it, like mid to high tier. This character is really, really good and really, really stupid. So now that we got to this point, we can start talking about the character weaknesses first. So we can just get to his strengths, because these characters start to have a lot of strengths about them and are very scary to any tournament player. So the weaknesses of this character is, one, he suffers from the same issue as the other two characters, where he is a 7-framer, which means he's prone to losing these scenarios, which can get exploited. Same way you can exploit Darius, same way you can exploit Braum, you can exploit Warwick like this too. This is an issue of the character, and this is actually a much bigger issue than people actually think, and it's pretty present. I want to say it's pretty present. Other issues of this character is his damage is rather inconsistent sometimes, and that's not really too big of an issue considering how he's getting these hits, but that just means he's not prone to hit you and you just die like a lot of the other characters can, which is an issue. I would say one of the last issues of this character is he's kind of forced to box more than other characters, in the sense that he's forced to fight, actually. Like, I'm not gonna say he's fighting fair and square, because he has things like that, he has things like this. He's definitely not fighting fair and square. However, he still does have to fight, which, as weird as it sounds, is not a good thing. And we'll talk about that later. But this can start being an issue where if he feels if he's forced to fight, even if he's really, really good at doing it. So this is not too big of an issue for the work players. In the grand scheme of things, this is a bit of an issue, which can get exploited, and it does get exploited against this character. Now, to talk about the good about this character. So for one, he is like one of the best punishers in the game. It's very hard to get away with, even shooting a random projectile, because he has access to a fairly fast tracking super that does a lot of damage. Boom, that's 350 off rip. That is a combo worth of damage just for you attempting to do anything in neutral. That is really, really good. Everyone's favorite friend, the overhead, is really dumb. 24 frame overhead, gives him a combo, does good damage. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do this combo, but it's not the worst, but it's not the best. However, the fact that he gets a combo here is nice at the very least, and with help, this overhead can start doing a lot of damage. It's very annoying. It goes over normals. It high crushes things, it low crushes things, it mid crushes things, it can even high crush some things. It hits in the air, anti-airs you. Like, we all know how dumb this move is. Plus on air block, it's amazing. Definitely one of the best mix-up tools in the game, because characters don't actually have access to solo mix-up too much, like mid block string. So him having probably the best like mid block string solo mix up in the game is a huge leading reason as to why he's so strong. He also has this really good footsie buttons with this. Kind of hard to play neutral around this button. He has dives, really, really good. And this character is just really generally annoying because his game plan is to get in and maul you. And once he's in, you're kind of at his mercy. Not a lot of characters can do much about him just kind of harassing you like this. Doing overhead, you can't up back, things like throwing you, getting reward off of it. It's just really, really, really annoying to deal with. His damage, while inconsistent, can also be very high, which is nice once he's in Bloodlust. And even without it, he generally hits you very hard. And then obviously, once he's in Bloodlust, he's just a better character. This character is like, for all of the issues he could have, his strengths definitely outweigh them, and he just has really good stuff. Like, his assists are really good, his stagger pressure is really good, his solo mix-up's really good. When he's in Bloodlust, he's one of the scariest characters in the game. Access to a insane cross-up. His overhead goes very far, even further now in Bloodlust, I believe. It is like, this character is just really, 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 really solid. An important thing to note is this character actually gets better in tournament. He's one of those characters that can take advantage of how nervous you can be at times. When nerves are on the line, his type of playstyle, which is just immense pressure and a reaction check, gets a lot harder to deal with. So he is actually a tournament stable character, which is also a nice buff. I do consider that when talking about characters' tiers in terms of strength, just how hard they are in tournament versus how good they are in tournament. To contrast, like a character like Caitlyn, I don't think is very good in tournament. She gets much more difficult in tournament for not enough reward to warrant that difficulty. He's kind of the opposite. For how easy he is, the fact that he gets that much better in tournament is a huge plus. On to the next tier of this game. There is kind of a weird discussion where do we consider these characters the high tiers or the top tiers? It is up to you. I could even see this list kind of being like this, and these characters being the high tiers and the characters above them being top tiers, or you can have a mixture of just trying to say all these characters are top tier. I know some people want to say that. Some people kind of divide them in between, like half of them are top tier and then some of them are high tiers. But Regardless of the way you break it down, these characters above Warwick starts to be some of the strongest characters in the game. And these characters are usually on tournament winning teams, and they're pretty stable for what they do. And again, one thing you're going to see about this tier is they are looking for 3 things. And these 3 things really make a character strong in this game, which is the ability to screen lock you, the ability to set play you once they hit you, which is post hit, or their ability to negate screen locking, which is a pretty rare tool, but some of these characters do have it in some capacities, and it's very, very strong. So let's start by talking about my main, Teemo. Teemo is actually a rare example of this character having a lot more issues than other characters. And this is not me downplaying, right? Like, hear me out. Let me cook. He's a kind of a weirdo case where even a character like Warwick, he's presented with even more issues than a character like Warwick. So he has a lot more weaknesses. However, he has a lot of strengths. His like weaknesses, the strength is very polarizing. Like he has a lot more weaknesses in the characters of his tier and around him. However, he has a lot of unique strengths that is unique to him and him alone, even among every other character in the game. And that's where he falls in the weird sections. The first weakness is, even though he is a 6-framer, he does have the magic number, it does not go far enough to actually allow him to use it in the same scenario other characters will use it in. And this can kind of show itself in a few different ways, and that he is actually fairly weak on defense because of this. He does have a 9-frame move, but there's a lot of scenarios where you need something, you need the 6-framer to connect at this spot, or like a 7-framer, and he simply does not have either. So effectively, he has some of the worst defense in the entire game in a lot of scenarios. He has the lowest health in the game, so on top of having some of the worst defense in the entire game, if you get in on Teemo, he is the most prone in the entire game to just get mauled right then and there, depending on how you're playing him. There is ways to mitigate this, which I'll talk about in a second. Outside of that, other weaknesses of this character is his block strings are generally weak. Like his initial hit block string, very, very strong. Some of the strongest in the entire game. Once his block strings get going, like once he's in the middle of his block strings, they generally start being some of the worst in the game. And that is an issue, and it does show itself. Outside of that, I think his weaknesses stop really showing itself. Like I would say the last biggest weakness of this character is he is not the best by himself. He is a support character at the end of the day. So even if he is a support character, that putting his hands up is hard for him when he doesn't have any help, and other characters are just generally better at making a comeback than he is. And you're going to see why that is the case, because he has so many strengths to the point where he kind of has to be this way. So for starters, he is the only zoner, in my opinion, that actually functions like properly in this game, because unlike Jinx and Caitlyn, he recovers fairly fast from his zoning. As you can see, that's minus 34. This is minus 38. And even just shooting a regular slingshot is still safer than like Caitlyn whiffing her gunshot. She was like in the minus 60s. He's only minus 49. And this just generally covers like a better angle to kind of just protect yourself. And it's pretty active. So like he can move like while it's still being a bit active, which is really, really nice. This character is like the ultimate neutral stop sign. So in terms of his actual neutral, and even defensively in neutral, he is some of the strongest. He's one of the strongest characters in the game. His defense issue only starts showing itself once he gets put in a block string. Like once he gets right here, like that's when it really starts showing itself. But getting to that point against this character, if they know what they're doing, is incredibly difficult, because he has some really good tools. He has like this tool, which is amazing. This tool is amazing. This is a good stop sign. Like stop running at me. This is very good. This is very good. Like he's very good at slowing you down and preventing you from trying to run your game plan. And like I said, there's like a few things that make characters really, really good. Like the top tiers of this game, and he has access to all of them. He does have a screen lock. So in terms of the good screen locks, it is one of the worst out of all of them now, but he still does have access to. Like the tool is so strong that even having one of the worst versions of the best thing in the game, he's very good anti-screen lock, which is underrated. If somebody's trying to approach him with their screen lock, like let's say you're fighting like Vi or Illaoi or even another Teemo, doing something as simple as putting a mushroom out or like jumping with his JL or floating. These options make it very difficult for somebody to apply their pressure in neutral without kind of hitting the stop sign. Like I said, being able to screen lock himself and also be pretty good at fighting against it is a very, very nice combo. On top of that, his mix-up is actually very strong. That is the unique thing about him for a support character compared to a character like Jinx and Caitlyn, is his mix-up can be very strong. And unlike Jinx, he's allowed to use his traps to mix you. He can do things like that. Instant overhead. This is a 4th frame overhead. You can get a combo off it like that. If your assist is just out, you can do like that. And if you're close enough, you can get a combo like the throw combo. Really, really good. Even just that alone is more than most characters. Like his support value is off the charts. Amazing assists. Really good combo game, especially in the corner. His setups are really good. If he hits you, it's not the best post hit in the world. Like, you know, Illaoi and stuff does exist, but it is definitely more than good enough. Things like that. You get a combo. Things like this. You get an overhead. And even if they roll out the corner, he can give you throw combos. Really, really good stuff. Pretty unique to him. The fact that he has access to the strongest things in this game, the strongest ways to play this game, generally leads him to be a lot better than it would initially appear despite his issues. And that's not even talking about his super assists, his OTG assists. Like he has a lot of really, really good things. He also uniquely has access to the strongest screen lock in the game. However, it is fuse dependent with double down super tag. This, for how nerfed it is still one of the strongest game plans in the game. The characters who can use it are pretty few effectively, like Yasuo being the main one who can actually use this to its true potential. However, if you can use this to its true potential, this is still easily the strongest screen lock in the game. And it doesn't really matter who you are, it is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't really matter what team you're playing. Once this happens, you are forced to be put in a bad spot, which again is a strength of Teemo, so it is something important to talk about. This character is very, very good. Matchup spread solid, a lot of really, really good things. So again, despite his issues and him having more weaknesses than these other characters in this tier, I believe, the strengths easily outweigh it. One thing to mention about Teemo, as a duo, he is actually better than as a solo. It's less now, but it's still the case. And the reason that is a few things. Like one, he has really good tag out moves, like this. This is a lot easier to pilot as a duo. This is the biggest reason that is. This move generally just becomes better as a duo because you can tag out and keep doing it. And as you can see, I'm kind of required to frame kill, like whiff a button and have him keep going. Technically I don't have to, but it is just pretty difficult and kind of unrealistic not to have to. But as a duo, you reserve the right to let him keep doing that without you actually doing anything with your new character. So they're allowed to move and put you in pretty scary situations. It is generally one of actually the best tag out tools in the entire game, but it's kind of locked behind a duo. So that to me is cool. I think Teemo is a perfect benchmark for what they should try to aim for, which is a character who is easily self-sufficient on his own and does not require a teammate to play effectively. However, he is stronger in a duo and there is merit to playing it. Unlike Jinx, like I said. To contrast with Jinx, I don't believe she is that strong as a solo, and she kind of almost needs a duo to function at that level. Where Teemo is just good enough by himself, but he does get better as a duo. The other reasons he's good as a duo is this is just a bit easier to control as a duo. Like you can kind of go wherever you want without having your point character do anything. Again, button overlap. And then his assist is just really, really fast. Again, is a underrated thing about duo because it's pretty difficult. It's very hard to try to time your assist in duos, especially in neutral. So having a fast assist that actually allows you to help your teammate out reactionary, like I can actually see them like running at my teammate, which is Sonic, and I can actually call his back assist in time to stop it, or I can react to Sonic's movement in time, like I see Sonic jump, and by the time I react, it to be like that ends up being the perfect timing to protect my teammate. So this is fairly unique to him, and these are things that make him fairly good in duos and a much better character in duos. The next character is Illaoi. She went under people's radar, but I believe she is really, really, really good. She is a bit still in the potential stage of things because I think there's things this character can do that people are not taking advantage of. As you've seen with Bleed, we've seen him win a tournament. Her potential is starting to be realized for what she is capable of doing. So as for this character's weaknesses, she's a 7-framer, she's a big body, and she's fairly slow, so she has to deal with those issues. And her primary mix-up is strike throw. So at the end of the day, she does take a risk for her mix-up, which is The same cannot be said for other characters, so that is an inherent weakness. And her super assist is not the best. It can be used, it can have value. However, overall, especially for neutral presence, it's not the greatest. Outside of that, this character only has nothing but good stuff. To start off, she has amazing assists, some of the best assists in the game. This is amazing, hits really far, good block stun. This is amazing, literally one of the best assists in the game. It is double hitting, plus 39, very fast. And again, since it spawns a tentacle, even blocking her assist is a 50-50. Which is amazing. That is like one of the most underrated things about her is her ability to put you in a mix-up for simply blocking her assist. A true mix-up. Because her support value is so high because of her assist, she's one of the unique characters that can be played with all 3 fuses, relevant ones, which is 2x assist, double down, and freestyle, which is really, really nice. I think most characters cannot do that, and she is one of the ones who can. But again, the biggest thing to make this character as strong as she is again, we have to go back to realizing what makes characters strong in this game, which is, my opinion, having access to a good screen lock, good post hit. So if I hit you, what happens to you, right? Like screen lock essentially means how easily I can get in and win neutral without actually having to risk myself, which is what screen lock does. So having a good one allows you to win neutral on your terms fairly easily. Having a strong post hit situation means if I do get the hit, how fucked are you? Like how likely is it for me to get a extra hit? And how good am I at stopping screen lock? Because if that is going, generally speaking, to be the strong strategy in the game, being able to stop it is very, very nice. So she doesn't stop screen lock that well. She's pretty prone to it. However, when it comes to doing screen lock and post hitting, she is some of the best in the entire game at it. It's a very, very broken combo in a character. This move, amazing. Tracks you, plus 42, lockdown. Leaves a tentacle out, so there's unique mix-ups you can get for certain characters, which is amazing. For Ahri, for example. Same side mix-up into full combo. Amazing. And because of that, let's say you do hit the opponent, screen lock, boom, boom, whatever, you get a hit. Do whatever basic combo you want to do. When Illaoi comes back in, she puts you in one of the strongest post hits in the game. You get cornered, it's 3 reps of assists, back to back to back. And then after it's done, it leaves your tentacle, which if you get thrown, you just get another combo. The amount of OSs and the way this scenario has been pushed so much by the community essentially means if you are put into this scenario, you are pretty fucked. Like even a good player who's good at defending this, if the opposing opponent is really good at running this offense, it is just a very, very bad situation to be in. You're probably going to die. And again, this is all stuff that Illaoi gives your team fuseless. I haven't even talked about adding a fuse to this. Like for her to do 2s2 plus tag, that's without a fuse. She doesn't need help. For her to put you in this post hit, this is without a fuse. She does not need help. Just her existing on the team gives you this stuff. So she gives you amazing assist value, very strong post hit, strong neutral skip, strong mix-ups. She has access to infinites. I wish I was kidding. As you can see, can't get out of this. She can like loop this scenario, and at any point in time, throw you to get a mix-up if she wants to. Like she can just keep it going. 2 tentacles on the screen. Overhead, all the good stuff. And on top of that, she also has access to unblockables. Like in theory, she can unblockable you because she can tag out her command throw. So in theory, if you did command throw and mid them at the proper timing, you could effectively unblockable them, allegedly. I haven't live this too much myself, but from fairly reliable sources told me this does exist in the game. Very strong. Again, doesn't do that much damage, but the damage isn't what you're aiming for when you're playing Illaoi. What you're aiming for is to just hit them to begin with, to loop them back in the same situation, and do that, rinse, repeat until they die. This character enables this game plan. It's very strong, very tournament stable. It just makes her one of the biggest threats in this game, like at the moment, in my opinion. It is pretty insane how strong it is. Once we get past Illaoi and Teemo, these characters start having even less issues. which is why I believe there is a distinct difference from these next 4 characters and even Illaoi and Teemo, because they do have issues presented to them that are fairly exploitable. These other characters, you really have to go out of your way to exploit these issues, but they are still there. Every character does have issues. They do have weaknesses. It's just it's tiers of being able to exploit them, and I believe these characters are a lot less exploitable in that sense. So when it comes to issues about Vi, sorry, my dog is going crazy. Could you not with the squeaky toy? Can I have it, please? Please, thank you. All right, Vi. When it comes to her issues, it's really hard to say. To nitpick, her reward off air to air is not that good, generally speaking. If she hits in the air, she kind of really struggles to get a good combo without help. With help, she can do something like this, which is very good. However, without help, she really does not get much. She's fairly inconsistent. And she is weak in the air, which is actually a fairly big issue, just generally, because you want to be good in the air. Like, really, in the air, she has this normal, which is pretty good. It hits behind her. She has this, but outside of that, that's kind of it. She's very linear in the air. And then everything else is just really, really good about this character. There is so much about this character that's really good. She's a 6-framer, the best jab in the game for how far it goes, which means in post-tag scenarios, she kind of just wins more often than not, because she will be out of range of another character 6-framer, but she's in range of her, so boom, 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 boom. She's in there. Very strong neutral skips. Access to anti-projectile, so she uniquely deals with projectiles very, very well. Very, very, very well. She has access to the best sandwich in the game, as in, like, she can get behind you always. So her ability to create mix-up scenarios is some of the strongest in the game, because she will always cross you up. She even has a command throw in the middle of this to enforce a mind game. Try to parry her. It's not guaranteed. Really good. Very, very strong options. You can see that's pretty good damage for a command grab. Well, it's a technical throw, so it's technically not a command throw. But again, her being able to do a mid-string is amazing. Like, boom, boom, come here, I will throw you. Really, really good. She has access to the strongest screen lock in the game without using meter, which is her S1. This move is probably the biggest war crime of this game so far. Well, at least right now. I won't say so far. It does everything for you. It goes full screen. It's plus 71 on block, as you can see. It is guard crush. So again, that unique property of it will enable a mix up. If you block it, you can't push block it, as you can see. Well, I didn't even put on push block, but you cannot push block this once you block it. You see, very, very strong for enabling mix ups. So characters can do like, oh, you blocked it, 50-50, very, very good. And again, this is a screen lock that is guard crushing you. So again, the strongest strategy in the game, she has the strongest version of. So surprise, surprise, she's going to be really, really good because of that. It also stays on hit, which is unique because again, it's not a projectile. So doing things like, see, it stays on hit, which means it's really good protection. It wall slumps. It just does the world for you. It is probably the strongest move in this game, straight up. And this is on top of a character who's already really, really solid. I will say a lot of her power is put into her S1 when I come to ranking her for how strong she is. But it's not as if that's the only thing she has, right? Like I said, the jab, the command throw, access to the easiest sandwiches in the game, a mix-up in her sandwich, OTG assist, so she gives other characters throw combos. So she gives a lot to a team just for being on the team. It's amazing. She does have other strengths, like she has a counter and stuff, but again, the juice of it really is what I talked about when it comes to this character. And these tools alone are just so strong to the point where it really sets her apart from the other characters. And that's not to mention how she has some of the most unique answers to screen lock because of how Sway works. So yeah, character's really, really dumb. Really, really dumb. And now on to the top 3. So these 3 characters, clearly a cut above the rest when it comes to in terms of strength. I don't want to put Ahri above, or sorry, in the same tier as Yasuo Ekko, because I do not believe she's that good. but she is a very, very good character. Like very, very good. Very, very strong. So again, the weaknesses of this character, her assists are not good for block strings. They are arguably some of the worst assists for block strings in the entire game. It's very, very difficult to create block strings with her. Only plus 17 on block, and she bounces in the air. Even if you tag early, she's only plus 10. It's not really that good. It's very hard to create pressure sequences because of this. And her back assist, while it is good in the corner, mid-screen, it's still not the best because you can retreating guarded. It's fairly slow, so it's hard to jail. It's generally speaking, her assists are not very good for block strings. And her throw is one of the worst throws in the game. Sorry, let me move that mouse. She doesn't really get a combo off this by herself. Even her Oki situation is really not the best. She's not that plus at all. Very weak throw. In a game where throw is as strong as it is, having a weaker one definitely does not help. Outside of that, this character is like, she has everything. She's such an amazing character. She has amazing supers. She can clear the screen. Some of the highest damage output in the game. She hits you really, really hard. An example combo is very, very strong. That is half her health into limit strike. And she can even use her super to extend her combos, which is pretty unique to her. She always allowed to go, I want a slightly better combo. I'm going to spin a bar for it. And she extended her damage into the 600s. She will always limit strike you. She has amazing corner carry, and even her limit strike creates a very strong Oki scenario. Because she has a built-in projectile that will meet you. It is amazing. Very high mobility, the highest mobility character in the air, or just in the game in general. She can do things like Spear Rush, which will send her far enough to actually reach you with H for like most of the time. Like that, she goes very far. She can air dash cancel backwards. She can cancel the fireball. She can air dash cancel the fireball, air dash cancel. She can air dash forward, go backwards, fireball, go backwards, go forwards, jump over you, go. She can jump over you, go backwards, go forwards. The amount of ways she can change her trajectory in the air and dance around the screen makes her a very difficult character to catch. But more importantly, it makes it very difficult to stop her approach because she's allowed to approach on her own terms. So because of this, she effectively has some of the best neutral control in the entire game. Very good aerial denial. Like her neutral is definitely one of her highlights, how strong it is. Very good ways to change her momentum, mix up her approaches, like I said. She's fairly fast on the ground as well. Very good normals. This normal goes very far. Her ability to play neutral with you and footsies is even amazing on the ground. So it's not like she's just meant to be in the air. And again, the highlight is her neutral is very scary because while you're playing with her, she is allowed to kind of put you in a mix-up scenario pretty easily. Especially because a lot of times you don't know where she's going to land when she does this, especially for doing things like it's very hard to tell where she's going to land on. Like as you can see, and since she can air dash cancel on block, she can mix you. So her neutral is just very, very scary is what I'm getting at. It's very scary to play neutral against this character. She can mix you, 1000 mix. I'm trying to get behind it because she can't get behind you. Like that was cross up. That was cross up. Like it's very, very terrifying to play against this character. Another highlight of this character is her tag out moves are very, very good. This move is incredibly plus on tag out. It's amazing. Very good at creating block string scenarios. So despite her not having strong assists, it's a bit misleading because her support value is higher than you would think because her tag out moves are extremely good. They're really, really good. And for neutral, her assists are very good because as you can see, kind of back to the topic of screen locking, similar to Braum, but not as good as Braum when it comes to this. She placed herself pretty far. So if the screen lock moves, she can kind of break your space very easily. And this is very scary tied with other characters. Again, she is, in my opinion, the best character in the game at using screen lock, like the best. I think Braum is up there, but she has a unique advantage that other characters does not when it comes to screen lock. Is she kind of has everything, right? She gets to you really fast, so she's very good at putting you in a bad spot fairly fast when it comes to screen lock. And she has access to very strong mix-ups. Like even if you stay on the ground, she needs a little bit of block stun to cross you up. to mix you up. And even if you jump, which is a common answer to screen locking, even if you jump, she can put you in a mix-up scenario for it. And her air throw is very good. So if she just chooses to air throw you, she gets a very good combo. So, again, deceptive. Very strong. She has, among other things, like her frame data is amazing. Her super assist is really, really good. But I would say the biggest things to make her as strong as she is right now is simply her neutral control, her damage output, her access to mix-ups, and generally her ability to enforce her will in a pretty unfair way. She forces matchups to bend in her favor more often than not. Very, very underrated character in the sense that she has a lot of unique tools that I believe people aren't taking advantage of, and they don't realize how much she can actually do. She's one of those characters where she has a few tools that are pretty easy to understand, and if you can use them, you can get pretty decently far, but there's a lot of potential in the character that people have yet to explore, or most people I want to say, and she's just a really, really solid character. Very good. Very healthy for the game, I think. Really cool character. And on to the World Breakers. What we were all been waiting for, the two best characters of the game, Yasuo, Ekko, surprise, surprise, surprise. I think these characters are in a tier of their own. I do think you could try to make an argument that Ahri is here, but I just, at least in this version of the game, I don't think with what she has, it's enough to put her on the tier as these other two characters, because they are world breakers to a egregious degree. So let's talk with Ekko. When it comes to the discussion between these two, it's hard to say who's better for some people. For me, I think Ekko is the worst out of the two. However, there's a reason he is in a tier with only one other character, and they're alone together up there. So for Ekko, I kind of want to do it backwards, where I want to talk about the good things about him, but then I want to talk about his issues, quote unquote, because I think, at least for this character, the general understanding of him, I think, is pretty misinformed about his strength in the meta right now. And I want to say his strengths first and then go to his weaknesses so it can kind of make sense, right? So Ekko as a character, he essentially is a, well, both of these characters, actually, they are kind of a jack of none, master of all. Like, that is kind of where they fall under, where they essentially are allowed to do everything in the game, some of the best ways in the game, and then they have their own unique things to them. I would say Ekko a bit to a less of a degree, but we'll talk about that. So he's very fast, which is good, which means he's very good at screen locking. He has built-in mix, overhead, really good combo, a roll, instant cross-up, and can put these clones behind you. That's a 19-frame cross-up. Like, his mix-up is very, very strong, so his pre-hit is really, really good. His neutral is really, really good. Time Winder, everyone's best friend, controls the pace of the neutral very well. He can kind of slow the pace of the match down, put this on the screen, hit it, doing things like this, hit it over to you, run up with it, charge H it, run after it, jail you. His block strings create mix-up opportunities, very good staggers, can get throw combos. Very nice, very, very nice in this meta. Pretty stable combos. A bit lower on the amount of damage his combo does, especially mid-screen, without having to spend meter, but we'll talk about that in a second. Like, generally really, really good. Good air mobility. Like, he has everything you'd ever want in a character, right? Good block strings, good mix-up, pretty good damage output, good air mobility, very strong at stopping you from approaching, things like Helm Breaker, very strong at approaching, amazing assist value. He has everything you'd ever want in a character. Now, where this character really shines, despite having essentially everything you'd want, but the thing that sets him apart from everyone else is his post hit. When this character hits you, he puts you on average in the worst situation in the game. Because if this character ever hits you in the corner, he puts you in a very unfair situation. We've all seen it multiple times. This situation right here, because if you tech roll, you get roll punished, and you're probably going to die. And I know my team, for example, could kill you by doing this. Keep the combo going. Very, very good. Even if you tech in place, you have to block a meaty Time Winder. Meaty Time Winder plus install, which is very unfair. To make this a bit simpler, I'll just do this. Very unfair situation when this happens. Like meaty time winder, plus he has install. He can do overhead rewind low. He can overhead rewind low, cross you up. He can do overhead, unreactable cross up. He can just make it really unfair. There's a lot of room for what he's allowed to do here. Boom, boom. And he can even loop it, which is very scary. Gets a limit strike. He essentially can always get this situation, even if another character hits you, for example. All you need to do is tag launch your Ekko in. He gets it. Very strong, very loopable, even mid-screen. He gets another version of it. Like the Kebab OS. It's just when this character hits you, him being on the team on average puts you in the worst situation in the game. So again, the three things we talked about, which is screen locking, post hit, and the ability to stop screen lock. He doesn't really screen lock you that well at all. He's fairly good at stopping it because of things like Helmbreaker and stuff. His mobility generally just makes it give him more options. But where he really shines is his ability to hit you and just ruin the game completely. We've seen the amount of games where Ekko hits you once and we just watch the movie simulator. That is what he specializes in. On top of just having really good support. So it's not like that's all he's doing. Like him existing on the team gives you access to very strong neutral sequences just because of how Time Winder Assist works and just how he is as a character. So what is this character's issues? For how perfect he is, what is his issues? This character only really has two issues. Really only two issues. And one of the issues is kind of important. The other one not as much, but enough to warrant saying them. One issue that he runs into is his ability to confirm into a hit off of his own straight hits is not the best, in the sense that more often than not, especially with his best neutral poke, which is dash M, at least grounded, he is going to be forced to spend meter to convert this because people usually do this and he can't get this combo without help. So he either needs an assist, not to do what I normally do. He needs his assist to help him out, to confirm like that, to a combo, whatever. Or more often than not, he's forced to spend his meter for this. Which is an issue. And the reason this is an issue is because of some changes they've made to the game before. Mainly the meter penalty deduction, which is if you spend a super in the middle of your combo, you lose 75% of your original meter gain, I believe it is. And I think the timer is 8 seconds. However, his combo does not even last long enough to really get past this penalty. So if you look at my meter, an example combo of another character hitting a combo. As you can see, Teemo built the full bar. He got his full combo, 76 meter gain. If you look at the top plus the limit strike, that is a lot of meter. Ekko, on the other hand, more often than not, a lot of times he's going to be forced to confirm like this. Which, if you look at the meter gain, it is only 20. That is so much less. It went from a character being 2 bars, meter positive, like once I finish the combo, I have 2 bars, to he doesn't even have half of a bar, which again is a huge issue not being on a bar in this game, because just without parry, you are considerably weaker. You lose a lot of neutral options, you lose a lot of defensive options. Mix-ups that are generally faker become very real. There's mind games introduced in situations that normally wouldn't be there, and because of that, it gives characters a lot stronger offense and just ability to kind of bully you. So being off a bar. So even though he can get a combo here, and if you have to, you should definitely always do it. The amount of times this scenario comes up is more often than I think people realize for Ekko, and people don't realize the implications of not having a bar meter and what that can do to him. Which is a very real issue that is present with this character. And I think this is the less important issue for what it's worth. The actual issue of Ekko, something that I said with Warwick, where he's very good at fighting with you, but he struggles against some matchups and some other characters to actually fight with you. He has to fight you. For all of Ekko's strengths, that is his biggest weakness, is he has to fight you. He can't choose to sit over here and do nothing. And I'm not saying his neutral's weak, far from it actually. He's one of the strongest neutrals in the game. However, he has to fight you. That is the main thing about it. He has to fight you, which can be exploited. And because of that, Ekko actually is a bit weak to zoning, surprisingly. Like, the zoners in this game aren't good enough to do it to him outside of Teemo. But if you've seen Ekko versus Teemo, it's not that fun for Ekko. He kind of gets zoned out. He has to like work his way in. It's a bit slower for him. And he gets hit with the stop sign quite a bit more than the other characters. Even in matchups against characters like Ahri, against characters like Yasuo. Like, Yasuo is allowed to stall him out, essentially. I kind of just look at Ekko and it's like, I'm going to sit over here and you're not going to actually get close to me. And I can fight you when I want to, but you can't fight me when you want to, which is a issue for a character because, again, neutral is the most important part of this game. For what it's worth, I also believe Ahri does this to him to a lesser degree, but Ahri is another character where she doesn't have to fight you. She can choose to run away, but eventually she's going to have to. But when it comes to actually fighting you, she's actually better than doing it at Ekko. So when those two characters clash, for example, Ekko more often than not will find himself in a bit of a scarier situation than vice versa, because he'll try to like dash at Ahri, she'll like ID at him, and then he gets put in a really weird spot. So again, for all of his strengths, these strengths are easily enough to make him one of the best, if not the best character in the game. That is one weakness, or I guess two weaknesses of him that you can try to exploit, which is weaknesses I believe this character does not. So let's talk about the best character in the game, in my opinion, which is Yasuo. This character, again, we will talk about his weaknesses before his strengths. For his weaknesses, he doesn't have the best low game. Even though he can catch a treating guard after 5H, it is a commitment and he will lose his turn without help. And outside of that, his other low is only 2L, which is a good light low, but he doesn't have like a low 2M. Instead, he has a very far-reaching mid to make up for it. Other issues of this character is that his whiff recovery is fairly high on his mediums and his specials in general, which for the most part doesn't come up if you are playing this character optimally, as in like your assist is ready. But especially for the mediums is where it really starts to show for him, because these are generally buttons you might try to hit when you don't have your assist ready, just as a neutral poke, right? But he is prone to whiffing these, and if he does, despite the spacing that he might demand, this is still -40 on whiff, so this is very within the range of punishing him for whiffing this. Other issues that this character has is that he's pretty linear in the air without his assist, so if he jumps at you without his assist, kind of like Vi, he doesn't have the most options, so he doesn't have the best ways of mixing up his air approach. The last issue is I think his super assist is not that good. In the higher levels of play, it can be exploited against him. Outside of that, this character is one of the biggest rule breakers in this game. He has access to everything. He has access to screen locks. He has access to stopping screen locks, some of the best in the game. With this move, and any projectile-based screen lock just gets stopped immediately by a wind wall. Even then, when he does have assist, he has some of the best air options in the game. I think he has tied for the best air option in the game. Kuma, stop licking my toes. Stop it. Which is this. This move makes no sense. It is a very strong move. It can even unblockable you. Well, not unblockable, but a 14-frame cross-up, so effectively unblockable. That hit behind Ekko, so you got hit, and it auto-confirms to a full combo. The best pre-hit mix-up in the game, because he will sandwich you, and when he sandwiches you, you get immediately put into a charge 5H pressure, which is amazing block strings. His assist also does the same thing. One of the highlights of this character. So he puts you in an instant 50-50 for ever blocking his assist. So his support value is much higher than you would believe it to be, due to the fact that he has amazing tag out moves, some of the best tag out moves in the entire game, and his raw assist is one of the best assists in the game. Goes very far, very good for screen locking. Again, it breaks your space very easily, and if you ever block it, it generally puts you in the worst situation in the game, which is a sandwich, which it is the only assist in the game that would do this to you. And from this sandwich, he has a guaranteed 50-50 with this J2H, instant overhead, low, built-in cross-up. He has it all. This character has amazing block strings. He has the best solo pressure in the game. -1 jab, -2 5L, He has a triple jab series, so you do jab, 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 dash throw, things like this is amazing. Stance allows him to have the best pressure in the game. He can leave when he wants. He can check you, stance hop, go back in, restart his turn, stance hop. Don't move, stance hop, I'm coming back in. This character is allowed to restart his string the most in the game. So because of that, he gets the most turns. The character with one of the best enablers for mix-ups on point. I'm not going to say he's the best because I do think certain characters are a little bit better than him at doing it. But one of the best mix-up enablers on point, mixed with the ability to restart his strings the most in the game, which allows him to buy time for his assist to come back, essentially means he has the best mix-up in the game effectively and in practice, especially when you take into account what his assist does. So that is one thing going for him. Amazing neutral control. This move alone turns off zoners, so he kind of ignores a lot of matchups just inherently. Amazing strings, the best button in the game for footsies. Asagi's amazing. Full screen anti-airs, like he has everything you want. The best anti-air, he's the best block strings, one of the best combo characters in the game, the best mix-up in the game, some of the best neutral control in the entire game. He has screen lock. He's good at using screen lock. He is very good at stopping screen lock, arguably the best character in the game at stopping it. There is not much you could say about this character. He has multiple answers to projectiles, level 1, level 3. Some of the best strike throw in the entire game. His throw leads to a mix-up, 4-way mix-up. His throw in the corner leads to a full combo, even mid-screen if you're good enough. I'm not good enough, I don't know, play this character. Like, he has everything you can dream of in a character, outside of the issues I mentioned. And generally speaking, he does not have the same issue as Ekko when it comes to his neutral game, which again, is a very, very important issue if I believe that one of your weak suits is the most important state of the game, which is neutral, which does not apply to Yasuo. He simply wins basically every matchup in the game outside of like maybe one by just simply existing, which is very, very nice in the tournament setting. And because of that, he generally just bullies everyone under him for the most part. Maybe like outside of Vi, I don't think he bullies as much. But yeah, this is my take on the tier list. Again, I think all these characters are good in and of their own right, because I can look at the lowest tier in the game and I can look at Jinx, and I've even considered using her more casually just because I do think she does have some interesting potential, some strong tools. But again, that's just because I believe these characters generally are pretty good. It's just, the best way to put it is the tiers of strength between the highest tier in the game and the lowest tier of the game is very apparent, and you definitely feel it if you play the game. You definitely feel it. I don't think those characters are necessarily that close in strength. It's just the characters at the bottom aren't actually that bad, if that makes sense. They actually aren't that bad. They're capable of winning tournaments with very good players there. It's just you're going to have to work pretty hard compared to people picking the characters on the higher end of this list. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.